Hello YouTube, I am here at 2F to look at the coolest drift car ever, which is the least likely drift car. It's literally a troll build. The most ridiculous troll build from a guy who builds troll cars like a Previa drift car, drift fan, whatever it is. And no one in their right mind would build a Corvette C3 when you have the option of a C4, C5, C6, C7, or anything but a C3. I don't even know what to ask. It's a troll car. He obviously put a 2JZ in it because that has to be more of a troll car. Cut everything off. S13 subframe I learned just a minute ago. The whole car, it's ridiculous. All right, you tell me all about this car.
All right, well.
Why a C3? What's the design process? What's it for? How do you design, how do you decide the build process for what's it for? All those questions, go ahead.
Okay, so it's a C3 Corvette because I personally think it's the coolest looking of the C3s, of the Corvettes actually. And particularly the 1980 to 82 model was plastic bumpers, no chrome bumpers. It's one of the least power, the cars that make the least amount of power. I think they made 180 horsepower in California, 195 everywhere else. But it had a very cool shape and a very long hood. And I always thought it was a car that looked good on TV shows and on, on screen. It's like a very weird, different car. So I want to do something different because everybody does 240s or BMWs. And I wanted to actually do the anti-swap, right? Putting a Japanese engine on an American car. Not like it's the first time it's been done, but I think it's the first time it's been done on an old car like this, where it's also completely redone. So in this case, I did it convert into a right-hand drive.
Oh my God, I missed that.
You just noticed
I've been looking at this car for 20 minutes and I didn't even notice it was right-hand drive.
It's right-hand drive.
Oh my God.
Carbon fiber doors, carbon fiber windshield frame. These one we're making out of carbon fiber as well. All front and rear subframes are S chassis.
I didn't even pick up on that before. The rear.
The rear is an S13 chassis, but it also has cantilever conversion on the for the coilovers. So you can get a wider tire in there. That doesn't get the coilover doesn't get on the way, so you can have a very thin push rod against the cantilever, and you can also show off the K-Sport coilovers that they were very graceful to provide me.
Huge shout out to all the sponsors of Drift Week, starting with BC Racing Custom Coilovers, who support more grassroots and professional drifters than any other coilover company. Thank you to WhatMonstersDo.com for supporting all of our content for so long, including our Japanese content. Use the discount code EBISU on their website for a discount. Thank you to NK Wheels. They make so much cool stuff, all the way from my drift wheels all the way up to F1 wheels. Thank you to ECU Master for supporting grassroots guys all the way up to the best driver in the world, James Dean. Thank you to Yplay Imports. If you need a rad right-hand drive car from Japan, hit up Trenton at Yplay Imports and get them before the prices get too high. And thank you to Drift HQ for bringing in that support vehicle. And congratulations on everything that you've been doing this year, Drift HQ. You are killing it.
Yeah, so it's basically like a full race car build, full cage. Everything is tubed, the whole body comes off. But at the same time, the T-tops don't have this pillar. So you can actually keep it as a T-top car. So it's not meant to be safe necessarily, but safer than factory.
So what series are you going to run this in? Is this a Formula D car? What series is going to allow you to run a pointy cage at your head? It's literally to kill you.
Formula Clown Shoe. Obviously, no, I mean, I'm just going to drive this thing at grid lives and local events and show events, just party events. I don't know, maybe Drift Week. If I'm ever invited to it.
Yeah, I know you're invited. You're going to have to put a little tennis ball on that.
I don't know if I could drive 2 weeks on this death machine, but yeah, no, I mean, so I driving position, my head is pretty far away from this. I checked that, it's literally my head is way down here. But the idea is that even without this, without the roll cage, the factory corner is still just as deadly. So
that is true.
I'm not adding or removing
any danger.
But at least structural-wise, it's definitely stronger. So it has,
it has no door handles on the outside.
Oh yeah, it's all shaved. NASCAR door bar. So if I ever go on the NASCAR circuit, I can get tapped and everything's fine.
I like is this a factory box piece?
This is a factory frame, yes.
That's so weird. So like you incorporated a factory frame piece like a NASCAR bar as the two-piece thing.
Correct.
Here, I'm adding a light for you guys so you guys can see better. So you can see this bottom bar is the factory chassis bar.
Well, this is a factory halo, but as you can see, we cut it and dropped the entire body 3 inches down into the chassis.
Oh, that's crazy.
The car, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but it's
low.
Very, very low, but my suspension is still normal, and I have plenty of clearance.
Your suspension is not normal.
I mean, normal.
Look at this.
Geometry-wise.
Yeah, that's... this is so funny. So that's an R200 diff?
Yeah, that's out of a 300CX turbo diff.
Wait, say that again?
It's out of a 300CX turbo.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So it's an LSD. I can't remember. I think it's R200.
When you say
or
ZX, I heard CX, and I'm like, what the heck
that's
is a CX?
That's my accent.
Yeah.
ZX, LSD diff. It's got, you know, all that.
So that's an R230 then, right?
I can't remember if it's 200 or 230.
It's bigger than a S13 diff.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
like,
R230, I think.
Okay, so it's a 230. I have you know, like a fuel cell, which is a big tank, so I don't have to be refueling every 3-4 laps. You know, like I'm not looking for competition. You know, like I just want to drive it for as long as I can. I want to be able to drive it on the street. And I managed to install the fuel filler.
Oh man,
yeah.
that is fancy.
Yeah, Radium Engineering, you know, nice enough to send me this tank, and my buddy Devin from GSK Fabrication did all the bracketry to get this filler right where it belongs, you know. So
I like the factory S13 control arms.
And
the torn. Look at that. That's torn.
Oh, that one. Yeah. This is not the final subframe.
Oh, okay.
This is just a mock subframe. Yeah. But so I'm doing the anti-squat relocation brackets on the rear and powder coating the whole subframe. And right now, I mean, because everything's being stripped, there's a little bit of humidity rust. So there's a little bit of fabrication left over, so I can send the whole thing to powder coating and finally put it back together. You know, they did like a BMW ZF transmission, which allows for a very small
this whole car is
tunnel.
bastardized.
Like there's not a lot of Corvette left over in this thing. You know, like a pedal box, independent pedal box, triple plate clutch from Tilton, ABC clutch adapter from 2JZ to ZF. And the thing that I'm most proud of is actually the wheels that I'm gonna put on this car, because that's kind of like the opposite of what everybody would put on C3 Corvette, which is
Zelda wheels, the Triforce.
the
Triforce.
One of my favorite wheels ever.
Is that a re-barreled one, or
Yes.
did they make them that big?
Yeah, I re-barreled them.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say I've never seen one that big.
cut the faces off and re-welded.
Oh
the face.
man. Is that how you're supposed to do it?
Yeah,
You just re-weld them?
yeah.
Oh.
It's a,
There's a little pinhole boy right there.
oh dang it! Well, there's that's where it's gonna leak from. Glad you spotted it now. But so you know, just want to make him.
This is a wild amount of fabrication. How many hours do you have?
I don't know the amount in hours. I know the amount in dollars.
How much?
But I'm afraid to say.
More than 20?
Oh yeah.
More than 40?
No.
Okay.
So it's somewhere in
between 20 and 40.
Yeah.
But that's only because you bought your JZ when you started building it probably 5 years ago. If you bought that stuff now, a ZF box is 3 times the price as it was, and a JZ is 3 times the price.
Yep.
Woo.
So yeah, no, I mean, I got lucky. I got all the drivetrain before the big spike.
So tell me about the cantilever setup. Why would you do cantilever? You said it was for wheel fitment or something?
So that allows me, like, I wanted like big wide tires in the rear, but I didn't want them to stick out that much. I wanted to be able to push them in.
So it's the version of like tubbing a car and moving the suspension, how they did on old stuff.
Basically,
But
yes.
you're doing it with a cantilever suspension.
And being that, you know, these cars usually had a leaf spring in the rear, so none of that was gonna work for drifting. The trailing arm on this car also, like if I ever bent something, you know, good luck finding.
So this wasn't a double A-arm car, it's a trailing arm car?
It's a trailing arm with just like a lower control arm to assist, and the leaf spring acts as another arm, basically.
Okay. And why the S13 subframes specifically?
Because it's tested.
Why not a Corvette subframe in the back?
Because of their leaf spring. And they're first of all, like all especially.
But they're
like,
double A-arm and you can just put a coilover on it.
But it's all aluminum stuff. It's more expensive. It's it also like, you mean like a C5 Corvette?
Yeah.
Well,
or a
that's
C6,
also like
the same thing.
Transaxle setup.
Yeah.
That I have to like still modify to get.
You could just not put the transmission back there, couldn't you, and just run a drive shaft to it?
Yeah, but that's a lot of like adapting where
Okay.
I already did so much adapting work that it's a lot easier for me just to get.
Why not just drop a C5 drivetrain in this and just drop the body on top of a C5? I don't know. I'm asking.
If I had like maybe an extra 40, 50 grand, sure. But the thing is, like, I wanted it to be like totally the opposite of what like normal people would do. Like, if there's like a simple solution, I don't necessarily like
the answer is I can weld, bitch.
Well, no. I wish these are not my welds.
Oh, it's not?
Oh, no.
Oh, I was just like, this guy's a little fabrication guy.
No. These are all GSK's.
Oh, somebody left their initials.
Yep, that's the wizard that came up with all these nice.
He must be your best friend then.
He's more than a best friend.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, like he's probably like an adopted child. No, I love Devin. He's a great guy, and he worked with me on everything that I told him. He's like, okay, well, let's do that. The previous fabrication was made by Will Romishevsky.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with. He has like beautiful GS 300. Actually,
the black one.
Yeah. It's actually not a GS. It's a
Aristo. Yeah. He came to our last Drift Week on just one of the public days.
He did most of the front and roll bar and all that stuff. Same, you know, like
I rode in that car. It was wild.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy as well, and he did everything that I asked him to do. He's like, okay, and he came up with ideas himself, and I also was like, okay, like just very easy to work with and great quality. So there's 2 fabrication hands on the car, but it's all my brain, you know, like I want to do this, and they're like, well, let's do it this way. Okay, perfect. So
very cool.
So the idea with the cantilever suspension also, it's so I can showcase the coilovers. Like nobody, you never really get to see them unless you stick a GoPro under the fender, right? So now you can actually see them working, and I think it's also like a little bit of a like makes it look prettier.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
No, it's definitely very, very baller. This is the most insane, like SEMA looking. You should chrome the cage and send it to SEMA C3 ever.
I already have Bluetooth drive shaft, so
yeah.
I think I'm ready for SEMA.
This thing's rad.
Thank you.
And what did you already tell me what the purpose was?
Just, you know, having fun.
Okay,
going
so
to
no specific thing.
No. I'm not, like this car would never pass any kind of competition tech.
Yeah.
Like every roll that could have been broken, it's been broken.
Did you get permission to like delete this bar by Grid Life or anything if you're gonna run?
No, I mean I didn't ask permission to anybody. I am going to ask permission if they let me drive. Like if they don't want me to drive, well that's it. I'll just park it. But I like to think I have a good relationship with them, so.
You can sneak in under the rule book?
No, I mean more than like, you know, like I'm also not like a professional driver when I can do like tight tandems with people. So I'm pretty sure I'd be fine just like driving by myself, maybe with one buddy. But we'll see. I mean the car has all the cheat codes. You know, it has the WiseFab, it has the 2J. Like, you know, it's like half an inch shorter than S13 the wheelbase.
I was gonna say this is interesting too because the engine has moved so far back that it's like building a mid-engine S chassis almost. You know, like it's like building an S chassis with the engine underneath the windshield and the driver in the back seat.
Like Daigo likes doing that.
Yeah.
Kind of the firewall sticking the engine all the way in the back, and I know Forrest he pushed to the max, you know, like keep putting the engine almost, you know, millimeters from the firewalls, and you get a lot better weight distribution. This car is already super light, as the weight's gonna be. So I'm looking to make like dyno 600 horses and then dial it down to like 400. So you know, I'm not changing tires every 3 laps.
Makes sense.
Make it reliable, but not stupid fast, you know. So.
Man,
that's it. I mean, there's really not that much more into it.
I mean, there is. There's
It's
so many
missing
details. Like, look at these front strut towers. Obviously, is all just handmade. Is the top of the strut tower exactly where the factory one is, or did you move it?
Well, we just lowered it the same 3 inches that we lowered the body.
Okay.
So
But it's in the same position other than that.
Like basically, we made a jig out of a S14, and then we put it on this car and replicated the positioning of everything, all the mounting points for the subframe, the power bracing, everything is where it would be on a 240. Then we just like grab the top of the strut towers basically and lowered it 3 inches with the rest of the body, and everything seems to work just fine.
I have a really dumb question, and this is kind of off the wall. How do you stay focused on something like this and not just like ADD your way into a whole new build when something takes this long?
Oh, I ADD like crazy because this is just one of like the other 4 things I'm working on. I'm doing work on this little thing, and I'm doing work on this stupid little scooter, and I have a bunch of other stuff at home.
Okay.
So whenever I can't like progress because like I'm stuck on whatever, I kind of like go and work on something else until my mind gets a little bit more, you know.
How long would it take to finish this car? Like not just like, how do you say it? How long have you been working on it, and how long do you think until you're done? Years?
Started the build early in 2020.
Okay.
And obviously, actually, late 2019, and then in 2020, you know, COVID hit, and it put a halt, like a whole year of not doing anything. Restarted about the end of 2020, and like I said, like next week it's actually going back to fab to finish the front, headlight, mounts, intercooler, piping, turbo, exhaust, all that stuff. Hopefully, once that is done, I don't want to say take the whole thing to powder coating. It'll take me like an extra 6 months to finish everything, painting and everything done. But I've never been very good at being right at my time estimates. But I hope it doesn't take more than 6 months at this point.
Yeah, this thing is nuts.
Thank you. I have everything. Like, that's the thing. I have wiring, I have ECU. I literally just need to put it all back together once the powder coat is done.
Okay.
And then I can paint and...
What have you learned?
Don't do this. That's like, dude, when I was drifting the van, I had so many people asking me, so what do I do to drift the van? I was like, no, don't do it. Like, you know, you're not gonna have fun because it takes so much work for, like, with these, like, I've enjoyed the build. I've enjoyed like the people asking questions. I wish I was a fabricator myself so I could like advance faster. And also I wish I had a taste for cheaper things. Because like, you know, like the Bright seats, they're not cheap. The 2J seat, the 2J engine is not cheap. You know, the car itself is not a cheap car. So if I did something similar to a 240, it would have been done earlier and it would cost me a fraction. But at the same time, as a designer myself, I like the challenge and I like the authenticity of doing something different and unique. So
I think also as like a influential person within the drift community, you probably feel some pressure to like do something different and, you know, like crazy.
But no pressure because like nobody's making me do this.
But you want something special. You don't just want like an S13 with the...
But that's been me all the time.
Whatever.
Like, I mean, I dailied a Pontiac Aztec for years.
Oh God, we're
it.
done.
But you know, like I that's just me. Like I like different weird stuff. So
is that the Phoenix like Breaking Bad thing?
Yep. That's the one.
Yeah.
So I still have it, and I mean, I'm actually in the middle of swapping a supercharged V6 in it, and it's kind of like lifted, so it's not your typical Aztec.